allowed to be.
I can't believe. How many would you say is here? Like 100?
I said 60 to 70, but I'm not sure.
I feel like you're probably conservative.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
All the little people. I'm so happy that you sorted them.
I did for you.
Time for me to pick up another collection. I was on Facebook Marketplace yesterday and all of a sudden, boom, up popped a Polly Pocket mega lot. Take a look at this photo. Lady was asking a pretty reasonable price on it, so I sent her a message hoping it was still available. It was, but there was a lot of people interested. I told her I would take the set, but it was 2 hours away. So I had to go up this morning right now and pick it up. I am here now. I'm going in to take a look at this collection and hopefully buy it. I can't believe. How many would you say is here? Like 100?
I said 60 to 70, but I'm not sure.
I feel like you're probably conservative.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10,
All the little people. I'm so happy that you sorted them.
I did for you.
So when I walked in, this is how it looked. Unbelievable. I had never seen this many Polly Pockets in my life altogether. Like, I've seen some collections, but this had to be the biggest one that I've ever seen. And she had some great play sets. So that was so many good Polly Pockets. Here's the story time on how she obtained it, which is actually really, really cool. The lady went to the Goodwills around here, wherever this is. This is like 2 hours away from where I live. And they would set aside Polly Pocket sets for her kids. And she ended up with this humongous collection with all the figures. And she was so awesome because she set aside the figures in the era they're from. So 92, 93, 94. So now one of the worst parts about going through a collection is pairing up all the parts and pieces. But now that I know the 92s and 93s and 94s are all sorted, I can go right to their sets. There's Lion King ones, there's Little Mermaid ones, there's all the Enchanted Storybooks. And as somebody that's worked on quite a few Polly Pocket videos, it's crazy. Like, look, this whole bin has some, and that bin back there is full. So I'm going to get home and set them all up on the floor to show you guys just how massive this haul is once I have all the figures paired up. And a lot of these are going to go up on my store. But let's get home, have a better look at this, and check out this insane Polly Pocket haul. Now here's a look at all the Polly Pockets all laid out. Now, as you can see, there are a ton to go through here. And for the majority, the ones that had battery compartments, I cleaned them up and got most of them working. Now, of all those Polly Pocket figures that were sitting around and in the pill bottles, she didn't have all the ones that went with some of the sets, but she did have some that went to some of the rarer sets, like this locket one. That one's complete, which is about $129 Polly Pocket. Now, the mansion was one of the one things that I wanted to go and get the most. It didn't have the car, only had 2 of the figures, so that was kind of a bummer. Here's a conservative estimate on what a lot like this might cost if you were to sell it each playset individually, which I'm sure a lot of you are curious of. Now, I use an average of $20 to $50 per set, depending on how many figures it has and how rare it is. Some of the rarer ones might fetch a little bit more, and some of the ones that aren't as rare that don't have any figures probably are going to cap out about $20. Something like the Little Mermaid one, that might be a $50 one because it does have one of the figures. Now, some of the other sets that we worth a lot of money is this Magical Movement Polyville. It's got 4 of the figures. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the magnet one, so I can do a video on it, which is kind of a bummer, but it does have the little pieces of clothes that go with the set as well. Then this one over here, the Trendmaster Cinderella Castle, that's not an official Polly Pocket, but it does have a ton of figures. The lights still work, the music still works. A really cool find. That's worth about $120 on its own all day, every day. This wedding playset had 3 of the figures. So when I'm looking at this set, conservative estimate about 80 play sets. This one, the music works in it still. But 80 play sets, averaging about, let's say, $40 a play set. Looking at $3,000 on 700 spent. There's a better look at it all laid out. And here's another look coming up of them all closed. Like, look how many there are here. It's unbelievable. I don't think I'll ever see this many Polly Pockets again in one particular listing. This woman did a great job of keeping these things in great condition over the years, and I'm super thankful that she held them for me. Let me know in the comments, what's one of these Polly Pockets that you had as a kid that you remember most? And here's one final look at some of the highlights of this collection. I am so shocked that I was able to find it. Just some serious 90s nostalgia. As always, thanks so much for watching this video. And if you can, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already so you can stay up to date when I pick up my next big collection.